against my enemies, yeah.
Hello everyone, what is up? I am Rob. Damn, it's Monster Fuzz back in the studio, so to speak. Huh? How are we all doing? Are you feeling good, Eamon?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are you feeling?
Quite good. I'm happy to be back on video.
We're sans COVID, sans Scotland,
COVID, sans Scotland.
Back in our motherland. Everything's okay.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be putting stuff back up on YouTube as well. And again, as always, a shout out to the people that are watching us over there, because we're starting from scratch basically on YouTube. Have to build it all up. So any likes, comments, subscriptions over there are always appreciated. So if you're new to the podcast, you found us randomly, drop a sub. And otherwise, like and a share is always appreciated, folks. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. If you're out on your commute, if you're in work, any of that type of stuff,
Make sure you keep that headphone jack put in, because it comes out. We're talking about big mad sausages and all.
It's not good. It's not
big
good.
Slabs of gammon. Who knows what we'd be talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, there's 2 times a year if you're a podcaster that are quite tough, Eamon. One is January, and the reason it's tough in January is because the arse falls out of Patreon. The other time is summer, because people stop listening because they're out having their crack, and that's fine. That's totally perfect. But what I would like to remind everyone is, if you could support us on Patreon, that would be fantastic. It's the best way to help us to continue to develop this show, and you get something in return. You'll get your ad-free episodes and Patreon exclusives once per month. You also get your access to the lovely Discord server, where there's a vibrant community of people. We'll be answering some of their questions a little bit later on. Head on over, check it out if you're into it. And you get 2 months for free if you want to pay by the year. Emma, if they have any spooky stories, cryptid encounters, anything
something
like that,
strange and startling and spooky happened to you, if so, monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. That's monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com, not monsterfuzz@gmail.com. That poor man.
I need to message them and just be like, forward any of the weird shit onto us.
Do you have any pictures of white dog shit, or where are we?
No, it's true, because there has been a load. Big shout out to our new patrons. We were talking about Patreon. Thank you very much, Michaela Vlasic. Thank you very much, Paddy. Thank you very much, Arkham Arts Studios. Arkham Arts Studios had a little bit of a nose. I was curious. I believe he makes kind of what do they call it?
Lovecraftian.
No, he does custom figures and stuff. There's kit bashing. Is that what it is? Is kit bashing?
Kit bashing.
Yeah, it's that mightn't be the right term, but he also does a bit of 3D printing and stuff as well. I think if this is the right guy.
So you guess a toy, and then you start
custom
changing out the arms and the.
So I'm trying to think. I had actually a really good example. Someone was using swapping out the M Bison head for a different body of a different action figure, to where it makes it look kind of cooler, or it's almost a better fit. People are all into it. There's also a lot of people that are into taking photography of action figures. So they'll make little sets and stuff. It's quite cool.
When I was a kid, I wanted to take a picture so good of my Ninja Turtle toys that people would think they were real.
See, I used to do shit like that with my dad. He used to do the 2 of us used to do stop motion with his camera.
I was just about to say, there's some crazy good stop motion stuff they do with figurines, which is it's actually super fun to watch.
It's really cool. It's it's an adult way to get away with playing with toys. It's I'm making something cool.
I'm making fucking this. There's great ones of Spider-Man. It's just him doing the web lines. It's but if you do stop motion properly, you can get the camera angle as well. So there's a lot of moving parts to it.
Yeah, and another big shout out as well to Jose Miramontes. I think I got that right.
Miramontes.
Hopefully I got that right.
Splendid name.
But thanks for the support, folks. Really appreciate it. Especially after Scotland, where our bank account was drained fairly. It was drained unlike Loch Ness was when they attempted it in the past. So we've got a variety of stuff today. We've got patron questions. We'll do a couple of them now. We also have some stories about the Monoliths. They're back.
Yeah.
Throwback to lockdown.
Back once again.
They're back.
Yeah.
We've got some Bigfoot stories and some ghost stories.
Nice.
So we've got a bit of everything today.
A smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord, if you will. Now, I'm a bit like a boomer with this iPad because I don't use Apple products generally. So I'm going to try and pull up these comments as good as I can. First comment that I have here is Paddy. He asks, are the two of you lads planning any live shows soon? Also, recommendations for good movies, TV shows, books, comics, video games, and music, albums, and songs. So basically everything.
Everything.
So, first and foremost, live shows. Yeah, probably next year. I've been talking to. I won't say any more. There's a secret surprise, but we've been talking to an individual about potentially having him do a live show as well. It's funny because people probably think I'm talking about someone else, but
the real
it's a surprise one. But yeah, there is that idea, and then maybe we'll do another one as well. We'll take a look into it next year. It was a fucking pain in the arse to organise, and we had so much going on this year that it was just the last thing on my fucking mind was trying to sort out a live show.
We'll revisit Halloween next year. We did the Leprechaun Day, so maybe Halloween new one.
Yeah, we'll have a talk about it and figure something out. Movies, TV shows, books, comics, right? So you have probably seen more movies than me, so I'll let you pick one movie. You really loved the new Godzilla movie, didn't you?
-1 is great. Yeah, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
Yeah, it's if you want to watch a movie about a big cryptid, there you go. Gojira, -1.
I actually have watched fuck all films this year, I'll be quite honest with you.
To be honest with you, I just watched my wife loves romantic comedies. It
Sure,
was her
dark.
birthday just gone, so I get dragged into it because I have residual Dawson's Creek vibes in a 14-year-old. I don't want to wait.
I just really, rom-coms are one for me that my brain just tunes out.
I would never watch them alone.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it's fun, like watching with her is fun.
Buy a Steam Deck. Buy a Steam Deck, son. You go, rom-coms, Steam Deck time.
Yeah, I like to spend quality time with my wife.
But watching rom-coms is not quality time.
Watching rom-com, we're doing it together. If I could get her into playing video games, that would be...
Are you watching rom-coms together though, really? Like, or is that something... No, I wouldn't, because that would be like me putting on football and going to Kira. Yeah, we're having quality time now. Watch Chelsea with me.
They're dumb, like. But see, she wouldn't care about Chelsea at all. Like,
but I know that. But so you care about rom-coms then, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying as a movie, you could watch it together and be like, this is grand. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, let's say you go to the cinema together and you go watch something that you wouldn't probably watch at home because it's in the cinema, it's there, it's spectacle. Yeah. So like, it's just that kind of a thing.
I think it's, for me though, it's very much the subject matter of what you're sitting down to watch, whether it is a together activity or whether it's a solo activity.
I like to watch things ironically a lot. Like I watched the second season of Milf Manor and I was like, this is great.
So we've learned something new then into the rom-coms.
I'm into them.
I like the one with Sydney Sweeney in it. That looks great. I'll definitely check that one out.
That's a rom-com. Pretty good.
I'll definitely check that. It's like, I feel bad for Sydney Sweeney because like...
Sydney's leaning into it. Figuratively and
the trailer for that film, I've never even seen the film, but it's literally just like, here's like Sydney Sweeney undressed in as many scenes as possible.
But even when she was doing her SNL thing, she was just like, I'm talking about my boobs for a while. I like that she's kind of like, on brand.
TV shows, I'm enjoying House of the Dragon. I'm up to date. I haven't watched
2 episodes, was it?
Yeah, I've watched the first 2. The third one's out now as well.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah, I've seen the first 2 as well.
That's really good. I watched a refresher on YouTube to kind of get me head back in the game.
Damon's Dragon's a bit shit. I don't like the big red one. That's all. It's too long. Like your traditional dragon, scaly, breathes fire, cool looking like a dragon. His red one. No, I don't, I know it's a different thing, like, but like it doesn't have that dragon vibe.
The whole thing in dragon, in fantasy, right, where there's dragons and there's wyverns, and most modern depictions of dragons are actually wyverns, not dragons. So there's a bit of nerd.
I've never heard of a wyvern.
A wyvern is, I think a dragon traditionally isn't supposed to have any front kind of limbs. Or maybe a dragon does. It's one or the other.
Because the dragons and that one have like the hands sort of gilded into the wings.
So one of them has no front hands at all. I don't know whether it's a dragon or a wyvern, but
one of them anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else have I watched. If you haven't watched like some of my old favorites or Twin Peaks, it's very fucking weird, and also you have to get your head around the fact that it's like now 35 years old. It's worth it for the absolute weirdness.
Yeah. There's an anime called High Score Girl, which is very charming and lovely. You'd even like that. It's a fella who loves playing video games and like
I like that. Yeah.
And it's really cute. Like it's very babyish almost. but like Guile talks to him and all in it, like, and Hagar and everything.
Oh,
from
class.
Final Fight. It's really interesting, but I think it's a great little show.
I'm trying to think, has there been anything? I'm really bad at just rattling off TV shows like that I've watched that I really like.
Shogun.
All of the Shogun was good. All of the Midnight Mass, all
Midnight
that shit.
Mass is great,
yeah, that was all really.
You
good.
watched Fallout, right? You were into that?
Fallout was great. Fallout was
I
brilliant.
watched Fallout.
Really good. Really worth to watch. Books. I haven't read books. I'm literally fighting myself trying to read books.
Joanna Carnes's The
Yeah,
Gingerbread
there you
Man.
go.
I'm reading that at the moment.
I'm having a
Pretty good.
very hard time trying to read books. Like I've been struggling with it for
Do you know
a
where you
long
got your
time.
nice whiskey? That's
Yeah.
over here.
You can't actually. Would you
Beautiful, nice
believe?
whiskey.
Yeah. We actually can't advertise alcohol on YouTube.
Oh, that's actually a bottle of tea.
Yeah, that's tea. Would you
That's a
believe?
bottle of tea. Bottle of tea. So what I'm going to advise you is you have a glass from your bottle of tea at night and read a chapter. That's a very nice, calming, sort of relaxing thing.
It's funny because I was thinking, like, Jez, it'd be nice if we had a glass of whiskey recording, but I think on YouTube you can't.
That's a
I
bottle
don't
of
think
tea.
you can drink. I don't think you can actually drink. You might be able to.
You can't say that you're drinking. Is it?
Yeah, something like that. I know on Twitch it's like that where you can't drink, like, yeah, or you can, but you just can't advertise the fact or something like that. There's something weird with it, but I don't know who the fuck
That's
knows.
stupid. YouTube,
it is
fix it.
It is stupid, but there's this attitude towards YouTube. We've talked about it a little bit before. Where it's like, oh, I can't believe that. But it's like you couldn't do that in your job. Right? You can't go into your job and go, I'm drinking, I'm going to say everything that I think is on my mind. Like, you can't do that in real life in most cases.
Well,
so it's like...
To think of YouTube as an actual 9 to 5
Well, it is for a lot of
office job.
people, though.
No, but it's not the same. Like,
But for the people that are whinging are generally the people who are making an income from
But
it.
also the part with YouTube
So it's like-
is the fact that they don't seem to be fully understanding their own policies in terms of striking people and stuff.
Well, that, yeah.
Do you know, and that's a big problem. See, like, it's grand YouTube is the platform and that's fine. I don't think they've really figured out exactly how they should manage it.
Yeah, well,
Because it's a bit all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's just because I suppose it's down to the old thing that we've talked about with the internet before, where it's like it's still like there's no
Wild
edge.
West.
Yeah, so it's like they're now trying to police themselves on like a PG-13 kind of model, probably, where there's like the occasional curse word is all right, but like there's a lot of like.
But it's almost like the video shop is like trying to which. You know, the videos are the thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like...
But it's all fine if you don't want to get monetized.
That's true.
So if you don't want to get monetized, you can do what you like.
Yeah.
And, like, but then as well, there are certain things you won't be able to talk about.
You can get monetized when you say, here, we talk mad shite. You're allowed to then do what you want.
Yeah, yeah, as long as you flag it as adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
every one of our episodes is always adult.
Yeah. It's like,
so we're allowed to be like, the whiskey is tea.
Well, yeah, I don't know, because some of our episodes actually wouldn't be. It depends. Like, I think it's, again,
very small percentage.
You said about wishy-washy. You're talking about explicit stuff is where it would be. But again, look, who gives a fuck? It's a discussion for off air, really, because our listeners are going, I don't give a fuck about the politics of YouTube.
I just want to know what books are good to read.
Comics, I really enjoyed The Last Ronin from TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was like the first Turtles comic I think I've read, and it was great.
Yeah, there's some great Turtles comics. The IDW, I think it's Dream IDW. Yeah, I think they had the Turtles license for ages, but they might still have it. But even some of the old ones from them are fantastic. One of my favorite comics ever is probably Why the Last Man. Mm-hmm. They tried to make a TV show of that. I think it failed.
All right.
Preacher is another one that's great. They tried to make a TV show of that and it failed. And then there's loads of like DC and Marvel ones that are class. Like especially Batman has some of the greatest stories you'll ever read.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like some of the
Dark
Batman
Knight,
stuff.
fucking Year
Dark
One.
Knight.
Sounds, yeah.
Year One's
Nightfall.
Flawless. Yeah, Nightfall's great.
I loved Nightfall. Like when I was 16, like I fucking digested that shit.
Yeah,
15,
yeah.
16. I was like, yeah, I'm not going into school. I'm reading Nightfall. Like,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
my priorities at the time.
What was it called? Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, isn't it? Serious House on Serious Earth.
Something
the one
like
by
that.
Grant Morrison.
Arkham, maybe. Is it just Arkham? Was it just called
I can't
Arkham?
even remember.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's how long it's been since I've read it.
I know. There's all these Daredevil Yellow.
Yeah, Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man
Visionaries.
Blue, Hulk Grey.
Daredevil Visionaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolverine Origin. If you're into
Wolverine
Wolverine,
Origin
it's
is
a
great,
great
yeah.
comic. From back in the day. There's my recommendations are all really old because that's kind of I've read a couple of comics recently, but not that many.
I think any of the J. Michael Straczynski Spider-Man stuff.
He was brilliant.
Actually, that one, fucking Midnight Nation. Midnight Nation's one of the best comics you'll ever read as well. But also, as I say that, this is like a version of me that read comics heavily 15 years ago. So we talked about this before the podcast. My brain could be in a very different place now than it was then. So like the sort of the epiphanies I had back then, maybe now I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
So that's worth taking my
you'd wonder nowadays.
Like I even wonder if you had never seen Twin Peaks and you went back and watched it now, you might be like,
exactly.
You know?
Nostalgia is a heavy thing, and it's all about the time and place when you watch these things. But there might be people listening to us that when they watch Twin Peaks, it's like that time for them, you know. So that's the flip side of it too. TV shows, actually, to go back to X-Men 97 animated, really good. So much fun. Actually, I was kind of apprehensive about watching it because I'm not a person that would watch like the kids' cartoons nowadays. Really, I wouldn't be fucking bothered. Like I wouldn't be bothered really going back and watching old school Spider-Man, but took a chance on X-Men 97 and I actually got really hooked.
It was like the first couple episodes, like, that's pretty cool. It was the fourth episode, which has a massive twist in it. Well, not even a twist. I guess you're just not expecting what happens to happen. Yeah. And from that point on, I think everybody who watched X-Men 97 was massively invested.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very good.
You didn't get back out after episode 4. Like.
Video games, I'm trying to think like some of my favorites in the last while. Street Fighter 6 best game of all time. It's my favorite, probably my favorite game of the PS5 generation thus far. Again, I know that's an acquired taste, so
there's like
Stellar Blade's really good.
I haven't played that yet.
Killing stuff.
I mean, what's not to love?
It's actually really good. Like, music is fantastic.
Speaking Nier Automata, it's been a great game.
Stories cack, but
there's a great game I played. Different. It's about 5 hours to clear. It's less than 5 hours, actually, maybe 2 hours. It's called A Short Hike.
Oh yeah.
Did you play that?
I know of it. I haven't played it.
That's a fantastic game. I love that. At the moment, I'm playing old school Castlevania. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is one of my favorite games of all time.
That's a game I really want to play.
It's fantastic.
I'm playing, which is more of a sort of a universal game, and there's a sequel coming out this year, Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's actually really good. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck. It looks great on the Steam Deck.
It's a couple of years old as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It runs really nicely on the Steam Deck. Like, you can get 40, 50 FPS, and it looks fucking lovely. Really good story, really good everything. A little bit of jank to it, but it's an open world RPG. It's always going to have jank. But it's like, so it's all historically accurate, all real characters, I think. Set around Czech Republic, maybe, somewhere like that.
Oh, I thought it was England. No,
it's
Czech Republic.
Yeah. It's,
well, to be fair, that is probably one of the best settings you could have for a medieval sort of...
It's really cool, man. It's a really cool game. And the voice acting is very good. The characters are quite good. And I'm only like maybe 10, 15 hours in, but I'm actually really enjoying it. And you pick it up super cheap now. Steam sales on right now if you've got a PC.
I think it might have been like €2 to buy on the PS5.
Yeah, like you'd get a
mid-year.
You'd probably be able to buy it in like the CX or something for like fucking €2 on PS4 and play it. But it's actually really good. I'd recommend it. Music wise, at the minute, I'm listening to a lot of Pinback. They're a favorite of mine. Yeah. I'm listening to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age at the minute, actually, as well. I'm going back to listening to a bit of Led Zeppelin at the minute.
I was making up a moody set list. Let me just see what's on it there. They're all songs that I think there's no I think they're all fantastic songs, but it's where my little moody head is at the minute. The whatchamacallit, Team Sleep aren't on it yet, but they could be there. I have some of the nice Pussifer stuff there. We have Someone Great by LCD Sound System.
Great tune.
Captain Midnight's there.
Great tune.
Maps by the AAs. Enjoy the Silence.
Oh, yeah.
I have this is a good one, M4 Part 2 by The Fonts. Remember the ending to Mass Effect?
Oh, yeah.
We have that. We have some Mogwai fantastic. And then one I added today, Burn by The Cure from the Crow soundtrack, which is fantastic.
Cure, actually, you'd make a whole mood playlist out of just Cure, to be fair. Hope that answers your question. Uncle Linus writes in and asks, what cryptid trait would you most like to have? Would it be Bigfoot's voluminous hair, Teke's inability to wear shoes, Monkey Man of Delhi's button booties, etc., etc.? Cheers. Cryptid trait. I'm trying to think of a cool cryptid with a cool trait. Like, I mean, we're going back to the early days. We're probably going to go with Mothman and his wings and being able to fly. Would be fairly class.
The future.
And being also able to like cause loads of weird natural catastrophes.
Like the bridge is no more, you know.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, Mothman's a bit of a saucy kind of a cryptid, you know. Mothman's an interesting one. I think he's the only one with like kind of powers, if that makes sense. Like he's not the only one, there's tons. But if you're saying Bigfoot, it's like, well, what Bigfoot is just, he's big, strong, hairy, stinks, dog man, similar enough, canines. But yeah, a lot of the ones like the alienish type ones that are a bit odd. That one that Tick Tick put in today, the Sandtown Clown.
Right.
Did you read about that? It's fucking bizarre. I haven't heard this story. It's like it's a real high strangeness entity one. I'll be doing the notes on it there, which is in a few weeks.
Do you have any cryptid trait that you'd be into?
I like Mothman's general oddness. I don't know how I'd apply it to my everyday sort of 9 to 5. Trying to think of any of the other ones that we've done. Well, maybe that the one from Hachisaku Shara.
Oh yeah,
she has the slit lady, and he's like, "Am I pretty?" And they'd be like, "No," and like, "Rrr."
That'd be quite fun.
That'd be kind of fun, yeah.
Speaking of Tick Tick, they're right in and they also asked today the most ridiculous question I've ever heard in the Discord, and I'm trying to remember it now. Is Wexford in the north of Ireland or Great Britain? So I was like, are you trying to just like, is that a troll question? I was like, that sounds very much like a troll question to me. But whatever.
Ireland or Great Britain.
Yeah. So
pretty good.
They ask, would you recommend Wexford or Ireland in general as a place for people looking to move to? Yeah,
man. I would say Ireland in general. Ireland, what's good about Ireland is it probably has anything that you're looking for aside from really good weather.
Ireland is like, so basically if you're listening, if you're from Australia, you're from New Zealand, you're from America, you're from Canada, you're from Great Britain, we have all the same problems that all these countries have right now. And I've talked about this with a mate of mine from America in calls recently, where with all the elections coming around now, you see that like each individual country is kind of trying to politicize these issues as like a unique thing to their country. Whereas every Western country right now is dealing with crazy house prices. Every Western country right now is dealing with anti-immigration sentiments. All of this shit is happening for a reason, but that's a whole different story for another day. But all of that aside, like if you want to live in, say, a Western kind of culture, an English speaking place, then I would say Ireland is probably up there as one of the best. And the reason that I would say that is because I think our produce is like some of the best.
Yeah, top tier.
I think our general attitude and outlook is pretty good. We're a relatively small nation as well. The cost of living is quite high, but it's not crazy.
Depending on where you are as well. Like you know, depending on what you do and where you are. Yeah. Dublin's obviously insane, but if you actually look at the cost of a house in Wexford, while they are rising a lot, comparatively, they're quite reasonable given what the price is in Dublin, you know?
That was a nice part there.
Yeah, I'm trying to gas.
You're like internally, and then you're like a crocodile.
You just let it open the jaw.
Fucking hippopotamus.
It's broadcasting, legendary broadcasting.
So I think, Ireland, like if I was to critique Ireland, I would say a lot of the issues you as an immigrant coming in would probably never even notice. I think Ireland has a bit of a begrudging culture, and I think that's something that you only really notice if you're very immersed in Irish culture with a lot of Irish people around you.
I'd say that's growing out of Ireland.
It is. Well, it is like it's definitely nowadays there's a lot more sort of counter voices to that kind of negative kind of attitude, which is great because like literally it was very bad in Ireland, whereas like I could probably say people I know that there's like 10 or 15 people who are like begrudgers, but only because they should be out doing what they want to do. And they probably were stopped from doing that because the attitude of begrudgery in Ireland. where it stops
like
you.
It's almost like that hurt people. If you were bullied and then you become the bully, it's like someone made fun of you for whatever. No one likes being the butt of the joke in Ireland. A lot of the things is like you make fun of yourself as like a defense, and then everyone laughs together. And like if you can't take a jeering in Ireland, people, I feel like they're just like the fuck.
It can take a turn for the sinister as well, though, especially if people aren't good with that. Like if they're not good with the slagging, like there are people where it's like,
two black
and he joked about it, and then now he's dead. You know, that kind of thing does happen there sometimes.
Occasionally.
So yeah, that could happen.
But jeer an Irish person. It's like there's another part as well in Ireland. There's a big cultural thing of like, a lot of people don't fully trust you unless they've been completely.
It's hard to make friends here as well. Like I've heard that a lot.
When you're a bit and especially
hard to get into cliques and stuff.
Part of that is age. Like when you're past 30, just making new friends is way more tricky than
I've heard it's very hard to integrate in Ireland as someone coming in from the outside, because Irish people, like the stereotype is like, will be really friendly with you and like but you will never take it in properly. And
that's all pub stuff. Where it's really easy to be friends with someone, you just get hammered with them. But there is a thing about Irish people, a lot of Irish people, that they don't trust you until they've been drunk with you.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
They're kind of like, all right, well, we got totally fucked up and his factory settings aren't abysmal, so they're grand.
Yeah, I gave up drinking when I was about 18 till about 21 because I started drinking when I was 13, and I was like, I was fed up with it. And at that time, like when I was going out with everyone, I was going out sober, and people didn't really trust me because I was sober, and I was like, get a fucking grip. I'm stoned out in my brain. What do you want from me? Like
he's Wexford sober.
Like basically, long story short, Ireland is fantastic. I think our quality of life is great. I think if you're living in Dublin, that's like a whole different experience than the rest of Ireland. It's like if you want to be in, but it's still good.
Yeah. But a lot of people love living in Dublin. Like there's different cities that are more sort of easygoing. Like Cork is a much more easygoing city. Yeah. But look, every country's meant to have its big district that's like hectic. Yeah. It's meant to.
Yeah, like London's the same. Yeah. Like London's no different. Very expensive to live in, blah, blah, blah. But if you're about that life, you'll enjoy it. But yeah, I would recommend Ireland. I think Ireland is a lovely place in general. That said, the weather can be oppressive for some people. Yeah. That is one thing.
If
that's
you're vitamin D deficient, don't come here. Like
it's very oppressive. It can really fuck with your head. Like I think there's positives and negative stuff and like bad weather cycles. Like you do appreciate your summers more and you do appreciate the nice times more, but then also there's hobbies that get completely derailed because of the winter.
Think about this summer so far. We've had like maybe it's like we're in July. We had one like day and it wasn't even that nice. It was just sunny. Like. And I think the nicest day we've had was probably climbing that blasted mountain in Scotland.
In Scotland. Ironically.
Yeah, like it's the first day of July.
We had the best weather on a mountain that has 4 clear days a year. Yeah. It was the best day we've had.
It's like, as Paul always says, summer in Ireland is my favourite day of the year.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, but like that's the problem with it, is it can derail you sometimes. Like I've gotten into running plenty of times, and like you get into it and you're out running and it's great. And then like it gets to like December, January, and you could say this is like a mental fortitude thing, whatever. But fuck getting pelted with rain that's coming at you sideways at like, nice, like 0 degrees.
Cold rain hitting you?
You can't. And the thing in Ireland as well that's really annoying more than anything, and you get this in the summer too, is the wind. So you get hit with the wind in the middle of the summer when you're running, and it's not great.
We went to the beach on the last nice day they had here. And it was so windy. I just said to her, can we stop pretending we're having fun here and just go home? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was garbage. Like.
Yeah, the wind is actually an underrated.
Don't go to this country. What the fuck are we doing? Go to any other nice country. Go to some place. Go to Greece. They're talking about 6-day work weeks in Greece.
Yeah.
Madness.
Simon, good old the Moog. Simon asks, Robert De Niro, Robert Plant, Robert Redford, or Robert Billington?
Robert Billington.
He'd say Robert
I have no personal connection to the others.
I'd say Robert Plant.
Yeah, you'd have to.
I like Robert De Niro too. They're all good. Robert is a name of great people.
Strong name.
You know? That's just kind of the way it is. I would say Robert Plant is my number one there. Like,
what was the fella from The Last King of Scotland?
Was it Robert?
Terrorist?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that answers it. Graham Young comments, that's Mad Scotsman. I believe we have 2 Grahams, but I'm fairly sure that's Mad Scotsman. Hi lads, was class to meet you boys in person and some of the listeners. Yeah, it was great to meet you, and it was great to meet all the rest of the listeners again, some of them, and it was also great to see all. They're all like a nice little family, Eamon, aren't they? They're all chilling out together. It was great.
A lovely time with everyone.
It was brilliant.
It was lovely, yeah.
And isn't it mad, like, because like I did say to them over there how quickly that could all just be obliterated by one lunatic. And we're so lucky that everyone was like really sound and nice and just chatting and having fun.
Yeah,
like
it was Idi Amin. It wasn't Robert.
All right, okay.
There is a African dictator.
All right.
Robert is first name. You're absolutely right about Scotland. Everyone was cool. There was no uncool people. There was no Robert, who is the dictator of an African place.
Yeah, so that was nice. He says, as lovely as Ireland is, if you were to immigrate anywhere in the world, where would it be? I'd probably go to Wales, North Wales. Jesus. I'd move to Snowdonia. I'd move to Snowdonia, or I have a fantasy of like if I'm ever in a position where I'm financially allowed to do so, I would love to be able to just fuck off to North Wales in the summer for like a month at a time and just gallivant on mountains over there, because I really like. I still think, even after being up to Ben Nevis and stuff, I still think Snowdon is my preferred hike, and I also just think that area is just gorgeous. It's got a bit of everything because you've got the mountains and the sea there.
Yeah, it is. Like, it is nice.
Clondalkin is really nice. Spain, I'd probably live long term in Spain.
I was going to say Spain.
If I was to go to like, and not like fucking, where's me fucking chips, love, and me fried, all me fried. It's not like Benidorm. Is Benidorm in Spain? Probably is, right? No, I'm talking about like Valencia or Seville. They're 2 cities that I've been to.
Somewhere close to a beach where like it's not massively tourist.
You'd love Valencia. Valencia is fucking amazing. Like it's so cool because it has. It's more of a touristy place for French people, I think. It's not really on the radar of like Irish or English people much, but like it's so cool there because you've got modern, like it's a decent modern city, but it's also got a really nice fucking beach and a whole separate kind of beach vibe as well as a city vibe.
My brief stay at Okinawa was wonderful.
Japan,
you'll find out about that soon. I think there's parts of Italy, to be honest, anywhere too, beach, sun, and not massively touristy, I would be into.
I think I could probably see myself. I used to think that I was very much like a homebody, and I am. Like, I've never really lived outside Wexford, but as I get older, I kind of see myself kind of more of the idea of I don't think I'd mind like fucking off for a month at a time for like just jumping
there's a
around.
Point where the things that tie you to your home aren't there anymore. Yeah. Whether it's like your relations move on, they pass away, or your friends. As people get older, it becomes much more difficult to actually hang around as you would have. But
I think like realistically, if I was to move from Ireland, the main reason would probably be the weather, and if I was to move because of the weather, I would move to Seville or Valencia, and both of those places are fucking brilliant. The food is great, the culture is great, and actually accommodation and housing is quite cheap over there. We were actually, myself and Cara were sort of half tempted to move there basically when we were struggling to get a mortgage and shit. We were kind of thinking like, do we just fuck it and just do a complete fucking get the fuck out of Dodge kind of scenario? And we were entertaining it. Like, we were looking at property over there. We were flirting with the idea, I would say. It never materialized, but I could see that. Like, ideally, maybe in the future, I think I would like a thing where I think it's important to like go off and have the crack and do a bit for your head every now and then. So I think
I'd say me and Paolo will probably wind up like when we're old, living out in Brazil. Well, actually, by the time we're old, Brazil will be on fire.
Yeah, I was going to say like the quality of living in Brazil as a pensioner probably isn't brilliant.
As a pensioner, you see, if you're on the Irish pension living in Brazil, you're making bank.
Yeah, true. Well, you were saying the healthcare over there is quite decent, right?
Yeah, the healthcare but it's just great. Brazil's. It's funny because nowadays, like, maybe it's always been true. The really rich are really rich and the really poor are really poor. Yeah. And in a lot of countries like here in Western Europe, the divide isn't as great. But over there, it's like...
Yeah, that my concern over in somewhere like Brazil, if I was living there, I'd be crying. like as a white person, like especially as a pensioner, like
go pappy.
Yeah, like just, if you're going around like and you're fucking, you know, you're a target really. Or
it's like anything. It just depends where you are, how well you know the place. Like if you go into certain areas, you're gonna be. If you go to other areas, people aren't really gonna care. It's you know.
I think that can happen anywhere, but I think I was reading something today about like, I think it's in Colombia, not Brazil, but like I think it's like something like fucking, what was it? It was like it was death statistics of like tourists.
Yeah,
but like it's through the fucking roof, man.
And you got to remember as well, Colombia is where like the most of the cocaine and all that.
A lot of South America is getting rough though, because like Mexico, Colombia, and there's a couple of the others like Peru and all that.
A lot of people that live in Mexico would tell you, like I said it to a girl I work with from Mexico, and I was like, "Is it true like 27 candidates for the elections were killed?" And she's like, yeah, but there's like 1,500 running. And I was like, that's still like fucking a lot of people. And she's like, happens every 4 years. Like, so to her it was very like, this is business as usual, don't worry about it. To us, can you imagine someone just shot Leo Varadkar because
it's like in Mexico, like there was a story there only recently where I think they were Australian lads, maybe surfers, and there was 3 of them, I think, and they were just out on the beach surfing. Like they'd parked up their fucking pickup and they were surfing for the day. Coming back, they got in the pickup, they're driving, basically a lot of lads stopped them, armed robbery, and killed them, threw them down a well.
Didn't even like, you think they just take everything?
Nah, killed them all, threw them down a well.
I remember Rossi telling me a story where like he was in Brazil and he was walking home one night and there's a lad in the alley. He's like, my friend, I'll bring you this way. And Rossi was like, nah, you're all right. And he went further on and he said like this kid, young kid, obviously just wasn't there with the amount of drugs with a machete. And like he just obviously had to give him the money. But he said he was like, it was either the child was going to kill me or your man in the alley was going to bait me. But he said he saw the lad in the alley later and he was like, hey, he's like, oh, you should have gone my way. But like he was getting robbed no matter what happened. But the kid was so fucked up on drugs. Well, like they're like child soldiers. And again, it's rare enough that you'd have it there. But you know, that was like his options were someone's kicking the shit out of me or taking my money or killing me.
So it's scary. So that'd be my only thing. With some places now, Brazil, I'm sure Paula has the local knowledge, so he'll be all right. But
Robert Mugabe, that was his name. It's finally back to me.
Good lad, Mugabe.
My recall is very poor.
Paddy also sent another question. I have another one for you boys. You're both out in the Raven at Carclaw camping.
Yep.
Something past. Actually, that is one thing I'm doing. I'm getting a tent now soon. And I'm probably going to do a bit of hiking, camping during the summer.
That'd be pretty good, yeah.
There's a challenge I want to do, the Mourne Sevens. Fairly fucking intense. The Mourne Mountains. You do 7 peaks in one day. It's up, is it down?
And it's all just walking.
Yeah, it's one day. It's like 12 hours of hiking, but it's like a fairly gnarly. So you should look into it. If you're into it, you might join me on that shit.
Well, I do have my own tent, so.
Well, we don't actually necessarily need a tent. You could do it up and down the same day, but that's just some of the ideas that I'm trying. Yeah. So he goes, it's dark with only a half moon and the light from the campfire as your only source of visibility. You're both laughing and roasting marshmallows on the open fire. You're both having a great time. Then suddenly you feel a chill creeping down your back. A wind howls in the deep of the trees, or so you think. The gorse bushes to the side of you start to rustle, with branches within them snapping. You are no longer alone. From out of the gorse steps a 12-foot, 10-inch, 2 Robs, hominid that has an uncanny resemblance to what you know as Bigfoot. The creature has matted dark brown fur and hints of black down its back, dark red eyes that seem to glow, and the big pissy Mickey. What's your next move?
If Bigfoot has a big erect pissy Mickey, it means he's on the hunt.
Yeah, does it?
Bigfoot's ready.
Is that what it means?
That's what, I don't want to be rude, but the Bigfoot had an erection and there was urine jetting out of the top of his mushroom tip. Yeah, we're in trouble. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Like the obviously run is your first instinct or freeze. Like it's those two. But realistically, if there's a 13 foot, wasn't it? 2 Robs. Imagine something twice the size of you, giant, with a big pissy Mickey and covered in hair comes out of a gorse bush. You're fucked. Like there's no, that's it. Like
for our non-Wexford listeners as well, like the Raven at Carclaw Woods is like that's where they actually shot Saving Private Ryan out on that beach, but basically it's like a peninsula. Yeah, Balnesker a bit further down, I suppose. But the Raven and Carclaw is like a sort of a peninsula that juts out where, like, if the Bigfoot's on the wrong side, you're not getting past them, so you're not getting away.
You're not. There's no, like, you're not going to outrun a 13-foot monkey man. The truth
of the matter is, if we're being frank, what you're going to be doing is getting your arms ripped off, probably.
Do you know what you do? What you actually do is you're in a very difficult situation.
Yeah.
You need to grab that Bigfoot Mickey and start working the shot. You need to wank Bigfoot to orgasm.
There you go.
So he's just kind of, he's rocked by his own orgasm. And then you need to just head off then. I would say Bigfoot, probably not a fan of the water. I would circumnavigate the peninsula and swim back to Wexford Town.
Yeah, I think I'd just have my arms ripped off and bet with him. That's probably how I'd go.
Well, that's it. Like, who's going to believe that you bet Bigfoot off to a point of orgasm?
Like the strength of like an ape-like creature that's going to be that height.
Well, there's no way. Even think about how fast he would be.
Like there's no way. Like a creature that would be that height and like ape-like would probably be able to like snap a pine tree in half just with his bare hands.
But there is no
if an XL bully fucking bit that one's arm off in Ireland, there's no way a fucking Sasquatch isn't going to rip your fucking head clean off if it wants to.
You just hope that he's sound. But I think possibly the best strategy is to wank him off and probably have to use your mouth a bit as well. But honest to God, that like the only way you could try to pacify a Bigfoot is probably to get him to a point.
You're just not going to have that chance, though. I mean, you're dealing with like
you just have to
unless he wants to, but
he's got to.
If that's what he's after, if that's what he's after, then you're all right. But if he's actually like a bear, you're done.
Like you just your body knows this is life or death. You're just trying. No. Anyway, that's what I do.
You do that.
Yeah, I just automatically. If I see anybody that looks dangerous, I automatically try to fillet them.
Like, you look stressed. Would you like a blowjob?
I was like, listen, I'm fresh out. I've given so many blowjobs to angry men today.
Yeah, so we're on to the stories. We're on to the mini Fuzz here. We'll do one or two there before we jump off, because the questions, there were good questions, folks.
We've spent a long time now.
Yeah, as it happens, we have a couple in the Discord as well, and I can't remember them, so we can't do them because I don't have Discord here.
I have Discord if you want to. It's just going to be a question episode, I'd say, though. What time are we at now?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to go and do the stories and do these
we'll do the monoliths and we'll do the questions another time. Okay. So the monoliths are back, folks. So yeah, these were this whole thing in 2020,
lockdown 1,
2020, 2021 maybe, where basically a bunch of metallic monoliths just popped up out of nowhere, and then they kind of just disappeared without anyone talking much about them. I think there was probably people who said that they were maybe an art installation, but I can't remember. No one did come forward, did they?
And also, it was COVID, so people were bored out of their minds.
Yeah.
There was one in Wexford, they started popping up everywhere. I think it became a little bit of not a social contagion, but people saw it and they're like, let's make one of those for the crack.
Or so you think.
Well, we do hope that it's actual aliens.
So another mysterious monolith has popped up in Colorado.
A lot of hash smokers in Colorado.
There is. Laurie Graves, the owner of Morning Fresh Dairy Farm in Bellevue, told local station KDVR she has no idea how the 8-foot tall, 4-foot wide and 8-inch deep shiny structure ended up on her property. She says that she has ideas, but I almost didn't want to ruin the mystery around it. So they said, I'm not going to ask people. Graves said people have been showing up asking up to her business wanting to see this alien monolith. The strange object has created a buzz online with people speculating what it is. There's a couple of conspiracies. People are saying aliens, of course they are. Just last week, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Damon, had a similar shiny reflective structure which was spotted near a search and rescue unit at Gas Peak. And they said we see a lot of things when people go hiking, like not being prepared for the weather, not bringing enough water. But check this out. He posted the monolith or whatever. So yeah, they all said that it's similar to the structure found in Las Vegas and Colorado. And the Utah monolith, which was one from years ago.
2020, yeah.
This was found by state and wildlife employees who were herding sheep from a helicopter back in November 2020. That structure, according to officials, was estimated to be between 10 to 12 feet high. So I don't know what you reckon about this, Eamon. What do you think about the monoliths? Like, what's the story?
It's just people doing it for the crack. Like the thing that's most likely is people doing it.
You're a good laugh, aren't you, tonight?
What do you think it is? Do you think it's aliens? No, probably.
Of course it is aliens.
It could be Bigfoot's. Maybe Bigfoot erects this 8-foot
What's
monolith.
this, Skeptoid podcast?
I'm Brian Dunning. Welcome to the Skeptoid podcast.
Is this fucking Mick West bullshit?
It is definitely just people putting them up though. But it could be,
aliens, man.
If we're gonna go mad, it could be Bigfoot who's come out of the gorse. He's not got his suck job. Right. And he puts that extra sexual energy into building a monolith.
I think it's aliens anyway, because no one said that they did it, and no one has proven that it isn't.
Well, that basically is how most
science no one's proven it. No one's just, prove me wrong.
The burden of evidence lies with you, sir. What do you think? Why do you think the aliens are putting them there? What are they trying to warn us of? What is it?
Could be anything, Eamon. If you're doing a monolith from 2001 Space Odyssey, it could start...
is there evolution?
Yeah, it could start beaming out a kind of frequency.
What do you think our next evolution is?
If it's 2001, we're going up to another planet, right? To find the next beacon. Pretty cool. And then from there, we're finding a beacon that'll lead us into basically hyperspace. And then from there, we're going to evolve into Starchild. And then once we evolve into Starchild, that's it then.
I do think it's...
well, we don't evolve, but...
I think it's an advertising campaign for Monolith Tycoon. Yeah. Where you put up monoliths around the world to get the media interested and get them talking.
Well, like, look, you have to... There's obviously some kind of covert reason for them that we're not privy to. Like, there's a collective of artists who are all discussing this in like a Discord or a WhatsApp or something, right? Or well, it could be just people acting autonomously, but it seems like people are doing it together in unison for a reason.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy for some reason or another. I don't think it's like anything particularly sinister. If it is,
I'd say
they're just doing
someone did it for the crack, and then other people copped onto it. I wouldn't say it's a big network of people.
I'd say it is the frequency of it. Think about it. That happened 4 or 5 days apart. Like they're big.
But that's because the media have reported on it, and then people see it and they go, "That's a bit of crack. We should do that." That would be what I would.
No. But these are like 8 to 12 foot steel structures. Like you'd have to fabricate them.
Not all of them though, because there were some that.
But these two are. That's what I'm saying.
These two that were made.
Yeah. No, they're massive. Like, have you seen them? They're not like just like a lad with a piece of sheet metal.
Yeah, because that was the one in Wexford. Was
no.
Piece of sheet metal.
These are
well, if it's I thought you were talking about in general since 2020. Yeah, no, if that's the case,
like they're fabricated steel, like objects that are like thick and they're welded together and shit. Yeah. Like, you could throw one up in a day probably, but then you have to get it to a spot. You have to get a site. You have to have a fucking pickup truck or whatever to move it there or do it on site. I guess
if you're out in the middle of nowhere in America and you have access to that, you probably just start doing it for the crack. Or
some of these places are as remote as like Ben Nevis. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like pulling up to somewhere in the middle of the country.
But there's so many places in America that are that remote as well, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? Like where you could do this sort of stuff.
No, I'm not meaning as in you could do it there. I mean it's kind of harder to get there handily to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not something you can just rock up on and go, oh yeah, sure, cool, I'll get there. Like you would have to plan to do these structures. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that there's probably a reason. Maybe you could say that it's a failed. Like this time around, it's actually. You could say that the first time around, maybe they were trying to get a buzz about something that didn't work, and now maybe they're retrying it. Like that could be the case. Like
just for fun.
Like it could be a thing like a kind of a graffiti collective. Do you know what I mean? Like
or even the dudes like lads tagging clowns or whatever.
Yeah, where it's like it didn't work the first time. Like we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve. Let's give it a go again.
Yeah,
it's a bit strange that like it's just happening again now. Like. It's like 4 years apart and now all of a sudden they're popping up again. I think there's 3 that have popped up in the last 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
So it's weird. Like it made sense in lockdown, but now you're kind of going, all right, lads. Like part of me feels like maybe there's something with them that we just haven't discovered yet. And what I mean by that is like maybe there's like a geotagging fucking thing. There's like some puzzle that people haven't actually figured out about him yet. If people haven't seen Bobby Fingers on YouTube, you should check him out. He's an artist from Rubber Bandits. Eamon actually put me onto him first. And he's the other half of Rubber Bandits, basically. and he fantastic artist, does all like practical stuff and that. But at the end of all of his videos, the really cool thing he does is he actually buries the piece that he works on.
Try and find
and there's all clues and stuff in the videos, but he puts it in a random place. I'm wondering, is there a bit of that with these structures? Like, is there something else to it that no one's privy to?
You think there'd be something more than just the structure, maybe like some sort of a hint or a clue, or is there a way to measure the...
You see, it could be like longitude, latitude lines.
See, the other part is that if other people just start fucking around and make... Like, because you're just going on... Not you, but like in general, you're going off reports. So if you don't hear a report that tells you there's one in a certain place, maybe you're missing part of the puzzle.
How many people are fucking bothered there are, Simon? Like, you have to do that. You have to get a couple of people together.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, how many people are going to bother?
And how many of them would have access?
Like, even if I wanted to do that tomorrow, we have a podcast that talks about this stuff. If I broadcasted that we wanted this done, I guarantee you we would have a fucking pain in the ass trying to coordinate it.
Well, the problem with this is that it's not easy to get access to materials and tools to galvanize things. Like, so
that's why it's that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's a bit strange to me, and you're kind of wondering, like, is there a bit more to it? I don't know. Long story short, we don't have the answers.
Probably aliens, though.
Probably aliens.
Yeah. There is a lady here.
Yeah.
Now we have. I think we're going. Do we want Bigfoot, the possessed X, or the ghost lady?
We can go with the possessed X, because that's nice and quick, and I'll stick the other ones in next week's.
Possessed X. I had an X all through my teen years. He was quite open about the fact that he sold his soul at a young age so that he could see his deceased mother. At this point, I was dealing with a lot of paranormal experiences, more than usual. I've been pretty in tune with the spiritual world since early childhood. Things had begun to get really dark, though. I was over at my ex's house in his room. He was sleeping and I was playing on my phone when his dog began to bark and growl at the door. This was very unlike her. She was a larger dog who was extremely laid back and calm. I sat up on the bed and looked towards the door to see a black figure curled up in front of it.
You're joking me.
Terrifying. It crawled fast right under the bed, and the whole bed started shaking violently. His dog rammed into the door, breaking it open, freaking out. I began shaking my ex, trying to wake him, while I cried and hyperventilated. He finally woke up and was confused as to why both his dog and I were freaking out. I told him exactly what happened, and he said, "That's crazy, because I was having a dream that I killed you."
All right.
There you go.
Interesting. So, what do you reckon? So that would imply then that the shadow that she's seen...
Maybe she saw a manifestation of the things that give us nightmares. Because he doesn't want to kill his girlfriend. You don't want to kill your girlfriend.
But if he's possessed, though, he sold his soul to the devil.
It's possessing his dreams. Yeah, sold his soul to the devil.
Or to a demon or something.
How do you sell your soul to the devil?
I suppose you just say...
You go, no, here.
Well, like he said...
make a deal with you.
Well, he said that he sold his soul at a young age so he could see his deceased mother. So apparently it worked. Maybe
was it worth it? Maybe they're not related. Who even knows? Maybe this is a separate little shadow entity that just crawls under the bed and gives him nightmares. So many questions, so little answers.
Yeah, I think it was funny actually, because in the replies to this, I actually forgot to list the user that posted this on Reddit. But in the replies comment, someone was like, "Yeah, my ex-boyfriend used to do this too, but he was psychotic. But I actually think he was possessed also," which was like a worrying sort of thread of thought where it was like, yeah, he was diagnosed mentally ill, but I actually still think there's a little bit of demon.
It'd be funny if like medical professionals were just like, "Oh no, you're grand, you're actually possessed, you don't have any problems that medication can cure." Yeah,
I mean,
maybe they're all possessed.
Yeah,
who's to know?
Like, that's the thing though, right? Because if you're at a young age, right? Let's just say you're 15 and Street Fighter 6 comes out, right?
Yeah.
And
possessed by the spirit of Street Fighter 6.
No, you say that, like, in all seriousness, like, you believe in this shit and you go, yeah, I want this Pazuzu, you know, I want to be really good at Street Fighter 6. I want to be competitive. I want to win world championships with it and everything. And then you just do your thing and you get really good at Street Fighter, and then that starts happening. So then at that point you go, oh, that actually worked. And then does it become a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Do you think that, would the devil show up and kind of make you sign a contract? Do you know, like in the movies, he makes you sign
I don't think he'd need to, you see. That's what I'm saying.
See, we don't know the litigious nature of what's the legality of hell. Like,
I think it's a belief system.
Do his legal team come in there like Satan, like, you can't do this, you have to get a contract, we have some contract. Like, this is just all this is hearsay. We can't legally bind this person to say that.
That's what you believe, right? So like, if you believe, if you that's what I'm saying, is like, if you believe that act has worked,
the same as just being possessed anyway.
That's the
unless the devil, he might be able to sell off the debt of your soul. If you're like, I really want to buy my soul, and he's like, haha, now that I own your soul, I'm going to sell back to you at a higher price, which is you have to like kill 2 people, or you have to have upsetting dreams about murdering your girlfriend for 3 years, then you can have your soul back.
Is that why then, I'm wondering, like with the psychosis kind of thing, is that why it's easier for people to like misinterpret people with those symptoms, and also for people with those symptoms to misinterpret voices that they hear, because of the idea that you can be communicated with by God and by the devil and all that.
And if you're someone who sells their soul in the first place, the likelihood is that you have a belief system that isn't exactly tethered to reality.
So it's like manifesting. It's tricky that way.
It's tricky. There's probably no one answer for all of it, but
it's like the more
it must be a weird thing to be in a situation like psychotic people who can think that God or the devil is communicating with them. That must be wild to believe that. Like,
yeah, and I was going to say maybe they are, but you can't really know. You can't.
Structures are alien, and the devil and God are communicating to people.
You can't. But yeah, it is interesting because it's funny, right? Because then there's people that would say that they've like they've had moments of like divinity and like,
yeah, who would say that like
they've literally talked to God, but then you would go
like Joan of ARC used to have,
but then you go, yeah, you're grand.
I don't know if
because it's harmless.
People have said that Joan of ARC wasn't very, like, some people have said she was actually mentally ill by the standards of today.
Yeah, but
I think that like she operated at a high level, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely a high level. Yeah,
like
fuckers.
Put to death. But that's the thing, yeah. Like, I don't know, who's to say? And it's really semantics as well. Yeah. Like, obviously our semantics are based on science. But I always think it's funny, like, what if one day they're like, oh, actually, we were all wrong. This is entities that influence our minds.
I do really wonder about stuff like that sometimes. Like, I do really wonder if, like, the Pope, like, has had moments more than you or I have had to indicate to him that there's more there, right? Like, really and truly. Yeah. If you're going to lay it all down, or is it much the same as you and I, where it's like, he just has vibes?
Well, think of the dudes. He's vibing. Think of the dudes that had the NDEs, and they're
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
They're like chill, but they're very chill with it. They're not like trying to get anything or trying to have. They're just like, yeah, this weird shit happened, and now I'm very calm.
Well, that's the great thing about NDEs is like, there's that bit of fucking, there's that bit of like hope, and then you watch, like, I watched today fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson and fucking what's his name, the God Delusion, Richard Dawkins, watched the two of them talking to them.
That was some laugh.
Oh jeez, here we go now anyway, fuck's sake. Do you know?
But were they both just saying there's no God?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think you knew.
I think he's like, he's
I think he's atheist.
Yeah, I think he's more or less atheist as well.
And Richard Dawkins was like, everything is crap, no fun. Fuck off.
No, Richard Dawkins like does have a decent message, I think, but like,
I think it's funny that all those guys never have done mushrooms.
He can rub you up the wrong way for sure.
Atheists in general
he can definitely rub you up. Like, I can see how there'd probably be people who are listening to us talking right now and they're like, yeah, fuck Richard Dawkins. Like, especially if they're religious, like, they're not saying fuck Richard Dawkins, then they're saying frick Richard Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins.
That frickin' frickhead. He's like, because being atheist does come across as like a know-it-all thing, where it's like there is a degree of, I think, spirituality that is very much tied in with humanity, and he would sort of say that is not a thing.
But it's like fundamental atheism, where like, what I've never understood about atheists is why they feel the need to shout down, but argue with people who are. It's like, who cares? Like,
That's,
they're religious, you're not, just leave them.
Yeah, because in my opinion, like, that's really easy. That's like low hanging fruit.
Of course.
It's like coming on to say,
prove
it's like coming on to our podcast and going like, Bigfoot's not real. It's like, probably not. Like,
shut enough, pap.
Well, it is like it's you're the smartest idiot in the room. Well done.
Bigfoot's not real.
Yeah, well done.
Wow.
Yeah,
where did you descend from? Oh my god. But that's it. Yeah. But then the other side of it is like, we are floating on a rock in space, hurtling. There's a lot of weirdness. Cosmos. Like, the fact that we're all alive is absolutely bizarre. So, there was a big bang. It's like, why was there? Well, that's the atoms. Like, how can you build a model on that?
Just tell me the whole shit, and then I'll be happy. Tell me the whole shit.
If you don't have the whole shit, who tells you anything is lying. No one fucking knows what's going on.
If you don't have the full shit, then I'm not. I'm just as like the likes of Richard Dawkins and ultimately I put in the same category as the likes of the Pope and everything. Where it's like, you're telling me one thing, but you just don't know 100%.
No one knows,
and that might ruffle feathers. Maybe some of our listeners are religious, but that's how I feel.
But they have to be honest. Like, no one knows. Even if you conversed with God, we've just talked about a load of people who science tells us are fucking psychotic who conversed. Like, lads, the whole thing is fucked.
Yeah, man. Like, and it's well, Richard Dawkins would say that he preaches hope. That he thinks that remaining hopeful is like his sort of
like that's like, Pete, you ever heard of G.G. Allen? I beat women so they become stronger. Like, do you ever used to say shit like that? That, like, to disprove someone's belief system that isn't harming anyone. I need a bit of hope then. Like, tell you what, Richard Dawkins.
Well, he would say to you that it is harming people, because
why doesn't Richard
so many
Dawkins
people that have been
head off
by
to the deeply Muslim nations who are like into stoning people and all that shit?
To be fair to him, what I would say to you there is, and I think anyone that's a comedian has this thrown at them as well when they talk about religions and stuff. It's like, why don't you go and talk about Muslim stuff and stuff?
Yeah, because those boys are serious. Like.
No, but that's not our ballpark. Like, I don't know.
It's not so much that it's not our ballpark. Like, they wouldn't say anything about Christians if Christians went around beheading lads either.
No, like, but it's not even that though. That's not for us to be talking about, because it's not our culture. We're not part of it. So it's like it would be this. But I get your point of like, you could. There's this and that to it. That is always there. But if that wasn't there, it still wouldn't be something that we would do, because in our society it's frowned upon. We're not going to go, hey, Rastafarians, bunch of stupid fucking Jamaicans smoking joints on it. Like, that's not our
Richard
thing.
Dawkins, he's an Englishman who goes all around
but that's
with the same values.
But
what I mean is that like there's no point in him talking to the Rastafarian lads. It's too fucked up to be able to have a good.
Well, that's stereotypical.
But I just think that it is that kind of a thing. Like, he's a famous atheist. Also,
true.
His money-making mechanism is to be an atheist.
Well, he's atheist, so like, God in general. I'm talking more Christianity, I suppose. But like, if you're disproving God, I suppose then you may have to do a tour of Afghanistan, brother.
Yeah, go after everybody. Like, put on your big boy pants. But again, that's the thing. Like. You have to be like, you're not gonna fuck around.
That's hard mode. That's atheist hard mode.
Like, you can talk to the Muslim lads who've come here and have adopted our values, still deeply Muslim, but they're not gonna kill you for it. You could have a chat with them, but all day. But you don't want to be going into like New Game Plus.
No, that's hard mode. That's an idiot. That's the new Elden Ring DLC. So Richard Dawkins don't want any part of that. I don't blame him.
No.
But to that, I suppose I would also say that, well, I'm clearly not going to change anyone's mind in that circle by doing what I do. Like, that's what that's probably his logic, is like, I'm not going to change their mind and they're not going to change my mind. So what's the point?
So you could kind of go like, he makes money. The debates are interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I actually, to be honest with you, like, it does kind of ruffle you a bit, or rub you up the wrong way a little bit, but like, I do probably agree with him more than I don't. Like, that's the reality of it. I think that
he's coming from a place that's much easier to prove at the end of the day. He's coming from a place of science, and he's talking to people who don't believe in science, and science tends to prove things correctly. So, you know. We get Terrence Howard up in here. He's one by one is two. Fuck.
Terrence Howard is...
He's I haven't listened to it yet. He's on debating. It seems like a friendly debate. I listened to like 20 minutes of it with Brett Weinstein. Or Eric Weinstein, or one of them anyway. And
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey was like, if I have 2 penises and only one crying girl. But he's that idea of the prime number and 2 and all. Like, I'm not smart enough to understand. I don't have enough of footing in mathematics. I must get my dad to listen to it.
I think, like, I haven't watched that Terrence Howard stuff, but like, I think he's just word soup, fucking mad.
It seems, shite. But that's the thing, when you don't understand what he's
saying,
that's why he just
sounds.
But your man seems to be a bit more receptive to it so far, where he's like, I don't know.
But he's probably coming from.
He's just luring me.
I'd say so.
Dude, finally, you've been caught inside my intellectual web. Do you remember they were all calling themselves the intellectual dark web?
Yeah, and the 4 horsemen of whatever the fuck it was.
4 pillars of the brain.
They're
not. They're very smart men, but they're like, that's pretty late. That's like a 15-year-old edgelord.
Yeah, podcasts have a lot to answer for.
Yeah, sorry
about this. Us. But we'll leave it there. This episode wasn't really meant to be a full question one, but however, sometimes
it is what it is.
You know, it just happens that way when you're in the pocket.
You're on the journey with us. We don't know where the episode is going. You don't know where the episode is going.
No.
We promised a Bigfoot story. That'll be next week.
Yeah. And as well, speaking of next week, I think next week will be, we'll have, the way the schedule, I think, going forward, I need to look. So this week is normal episodes. So you'll have Thursday and then next Monday. Then the following week you'll have Thursday and the following Monday. And then Monster Fuzz, as it is, will be on a break for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then Eamon's going to put out a couple of just sort of stories.
I want to call it the Spooky Soapbox. But there's one person who released 1 episode of a podcast in a car. And it's Bastard. Like, that's it. And I was listening to it, like, for fuck's sake. The soapbox of spookiness still up for grabs. The paranormal postcode, the eerie air code. But yeah, I just want to look at some fun spooky stories. It'll keep the content going, but it's only going to be 1 a week rather than 2. So
there'll be something there, and as well, there'll be a couple of interesting and fun, hopefully, announcements when I get home too that we'll keep in surprise. But a couple of fun little projects, hopefully. Once I get back from Japan. Japan is like, for me, that's like the divider of like, there's like pre-Japan, which is getting ready basically for the fucking trip and just trying to make sure everything's going as it's going. And then when I get back, it's like refocusing and trying to do a lot of cool shit. As well, the Ben Nevis video coming along very well. Fucking long. A bastard, really. I've been chipping away, like I've been doing like an hour or 2 of editing a day. But like, it takes that long with that type of stuff, and you're like, wow, okay. And I haven't even really gotten into like the nitty gritty of the editing, so it's taking longer than I thought, but it is coming. So yeah, and as well, actually, another little thing, I am going to set up a channel for my hikes. I'm recording all my hikes. I did Lugnaquilla the other day. I recorded that whole thing on the GoPro, and basically what the channel will be is like, I'm hiking Cumshingon as well during the week. Plan is basically during the summer to record a bunch of hikes, during the winter edit them, so you have content over the winter when you're not hiking.
Cool.
And basically what they're going to be is half like a walkthrough of the hike itself, so if people don't know the hike, they'll know the route. But then I'm also going to throw in a bit of folklore and a bit of information about the area in each video. And it's just a little experimental thing. Just going to see how they do. Just throwing them out there on YouTube. But that's all coming. That's all part of the refocus in post-Japan era. So yeah. So we'll leave it there, I suppose, Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've been Rob.
I've been Eamon.
Monster Fuzz over and... What are you doing? Out.